we have ourselves a colorful week full of planetary transits. There's a bunch going on, especially with Monday being the most concentrated day of alignments, causing the beginning of the week to feel more high octane than normal. Mars will be one of the most active planets this week, causing us to focus on temperamental issues, how we exert energy, and our bedroom antics. And Venus will also be making the most alignments this week, causing us to focus on our relationship issues and anything to do with financial situations. And the vibes on the graph are absolutely reflective of all of the happenings going on this week with the planets. A steady stream of romantic energy throughout this week, and it will last us all the way to the weekend, especially with Mars and Venus being active, and they're going to connect with one another through this week as well. So this is going to up the need to just be romantic. This is going to up the need to be flirty. This is going to up the need to just get into situations in terms of our intimate lives. And by situations, revving up the passion when it comes down to bedroom things. At the beginning of the week, intersecting that romantic energy will be solitude, emotional sensitivity, and mental energy. We've got some Mercury retrograde alignments occurring through that day, so we will be going back to incidents that might have occurred around April 7th, so our minds could be focused on those things. Also, we've got some harder alignments going on that Monday, so it could cause us to want to step back a little bit. It may cause us to need some space to ourselves after interactions we've had with others. Also, it could be a very triggery day, so that day in itself is going to feel very potent as a result and could carry over until Tuesday, just due to its potency. Fortunately, good luck energy will be present from the 25th going all the way up until the end of the week, and it'll hit its peak from the 26th all the way up until about the 28th. This energy in itself is going to be very helpful for us getting what we want. It's going to be helpful for us seeing opportunities in front of us and being able to capitalize on them. Again, this week is a very energetic week. It's a very high octane week, so we may feel called to act on situations that may be fortunate for us. And as we get to Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we've got some mental energy intersecting that good luck energy. We also have some social energy. We also have some psychic energy, a smidge of psychic energy, and a little bit of solitude energy intersecting all of that. Even though we've got that solitude energy there are transits that are present that may uplift us and motivate us to get out there and be social and have fun, but there is a Mars Chiron alignment that could create moments where we need a little bit of space from people because we're not feeling ourselves and we're feeling off kilter, especially when it comes down to our attitude and temperament. So yeah, this will be a fascinating week for sure. Let's look at the next bunch of days and see what we can expect. As a reminder, don't forget to like and subscribe because it helps this channel grow. And if you'd like to support the work of this channel, you could do so by buying me a fresh cup of coffee. There's a link in the description box below. As I was saying earlier, the 24th is an interesting day. We have a lot of stuff going on. We have 4 alignments going on in that one day. We start off with a few Mercury alignments, and then we have some Mars, Venus, and Pluto situations occurring that day. Mercury's going to make a sextile with Mars, and this alignment already happened on the 7th of April, so it can bring up themes surrounding straightforward communication with others. And the great thing about this, it's constructive communication. So if you needed to assert yourself in some sort of way back on the 7th with someone, this may be a time where they're either being receptive to it or you're having to go back over a situation where you need to assert yourself. And the great thing again is people tend to receive this one better than it would if it was a hard Mercury-Mars alignment. I'm not saying something, harsh might not be said, but people tend to be more receptive. They tend to receive what you have to say better, and they're able to understand where maybe they went wrong with something. And this is not asserting yourself in a nasty way. This is constructively asserting yourself and just letting someone know your boundaries, letting someone know where you stand, letting someone know that, you're being pushed past maybe a comfort zone or something. So luckily, this can bring about resolution to a situation that just needed some resolution and maybe more or less having someone sit down and understand where you're coming from. Also, this is a very energetic vibe, and so it brings about lively conversation. If you guys are feeling this one, it's great for socializing, even though we do have the solitude energy because the rest of the alignments for this day are pretty harsh. But hopefully this one is carrying us through because it brings about enthusiasm to your communication. It brings a sense of excitement to some of your chats with people. And it's also great for feeling mentally sharp and being focused on something. So if there was something that you needed to resolve or understand, this could be a day where you're actually going back to whatever was going on the 7th and you're able to understand the situation better and pick up the details on something you might have missed. So if you couldn't get enough Mercury alignments, we have one more, and this one is with Venus in the form of a semisextile. And although Mercury and Venus alignments aren't necessarily the hardest, this one in itself can be hard, especially with its retrograde energy. We didn't have this one during the pre-shadow, and this one won't come back up until June 7th, when Mercury is fully out of its retrograde, fully out of its post-shadow phase. So that June 7th thing, it doesn't mean that it still can't bring up themes from this day here on April 24th, but at the same time, it's not going to have as much of an effect as it did during the Mercury retrograde. But with an alignment like this, it tends to bring out our need to be validated. It tends to cause us to crave more reassurance than normal, and not because we're feeling whiny, but because more or less we just want that ego boost. We're just wanting to hear the words and be fawned after. So this could be a day where we're seeking more flattery than we normally do because it just has given us that nice boost we need, or again, we're needing a little bit of reassurance in a romantic situation or a situation that might be platonic, and we're just wanting to hear compliments from other people about, something that we posted on social media, whether it could be a selfie or something else. You're just wanting that extra attention. You're wanting people to be more responsive to what you're doing. But the problem with an energy like this is it could cause us to feel a way about things if people aren't responding right away, if people aren't giving us the attention that we're feeling like we need, and if we're not getting the compliments that we think that we should get from those around us, especially in a romantic situation. So something like this can cause moments where we feel irritated if someone's taken too long to say something to us, or someone is saying something completely opposite of what we were expecting. And some of this could result in negative self-talk if we get into our heads and believe we're not the best because other people aren't telling us we are. So an alignment like this comes along to give us a nudge to work on those things, so that way we create our own internal self-worth without requiring it from other people to give it to us. And I have to say, that is honestly the theme of this week too, is looking for validation in a lot of ways, and a bunch of the alignments that will come up throughout this week will call to that, and some in healthy ways and some in not so healthy ways. We also have an alignment that day with Venus making a Sesquiquadrate to Pluto, which could be a situation not necessarily looking for the attention, but needing the upper hand in relationships overall. On a healthy note, if you're in a healthy union, this can rev up passion, this could rev up intimacy, this can just amplify your bond and your connection with one another. So intimacy might be off the charts with something like this, but in an unbalanced union, this can lead to tensions and a lot of back and forth, a lot of power struggle-y energy, and a need to get the upper hand due to wanting to even the score about some secretive behavior with a partner, or bickering over jealousy, and also just needing to gain control of the situation, needing to control the narrative of the relationship itself. One of the reasons why something like this might come out sideways is due to repression. Sometimes in unhealthy situations, we repress our feelings in order to cope and deal with the situation that we're in. And in an alignment like this, especially with Pluto, Pluto has a way of unearthing things. So if we've been holding something in that we didn't like necessarily from our partner, this might be the day where that shit just bubbles up to the surface. And with Monday having that big trigger warning vibe to it, this is going to be easy to do. So when an alignment like this does come up again, it's one of those things where you get that nudge to work on some of these things, whether you're working on these issues within yourself, so that way you're not doing them or responding in this sort of way, or realizing that something needs to shift in terms of your relationships. It's not to say that you're going to get out of that relationship on that day, but it is to say that something might shift in you where you're realizing that this is not the road that you want to be on. Continuing with more relationships stuff, on that same day, the 24th, we have Venus making a semisextile to Mars. So we've got more amplified relationship situations, and this one can rev up risky behavior when it comes down to romantic unions. With something like this in a healthy relationship, it can bring on the need to do something exhilarating, to do something different, do something that you normally don't do. Going out and being adventurous. Obviously, this can translate into the bedroom. If there has been any discord in the relationship, this could translate into makeup sex. But it really brings on the need for excitement-seeking behavior, and if channeled healthily, this can be a lot of fun. It could be about exerting your energy in the most healthiest ways possible by just going out and enjoying yourself, and again, through bedroom antics. But in some unhealthy situations, this could cause a lot of overanalyzing of problems, petty feelings, immaturity, feeling the need to be retaliatory. So we might do something impulsively to even the score, like careless behavior, flirting with those that we shouldn't be flirting with if we are in a committed union, or participating in risky bedroom behavior overall. So it can bring about a day of flare-ups when it comes down to our romantic unions. Also, this could be an issue when it comes down to finances, since Mars and Venus have a lot to do with going after what we desire and also how we earn money through Venus. And so we also may have some issues when it comes down to our job situation. We need to be aware of acting impulsively or stepping on other people's toes because we're wanting to get ahead, or even feeling so passionate about money that we'll do whatever it takes to earn some extra funds. So it's one of those energies that's really weird. It can be a lot of fun. It can be a great day for adventurous stuff, even on a platonic level, just going out and enjoying yourself. Even though it's a Monday, some Mondays are people's Fridays because not everybody works a 9-to-5 job, but it is an exhilarating energy to have fun with. So channel it appropriately and do your best on this day because it is jam-packed and a little crazy. At least the 25th offers us something grounding and easygoing and just overall a way to be healthy and to recover from some of the crazier energies that we had from the other day. The sun's going to make a sextile with Saturn, and this is helping us realize our true potential. In other words, we can feel confident all of a sudden about where we're headed, about our life purpose, about the road we're heading on, our personal goals, anything to do with career, and just overall ways to stabilize our life. Something like this could put us in a position to get the recognition we deserve for a lot of hard work, or put us in a position where we're realizing that we've gained a lot of momentum from a stepping stone career and now we're ready to start putting our resume out there for something bigger, something that's going to sustain us while also offering job fulfillment in the long haul. And it helps us also narrow things down so that we're seeking the right opportunities rather than just throwing ourselves at every opportunity available to us. So whatever you're seeking will be more of a sure thing. And on that same day, Venus is making a sextile with Chiron, which is lovely because it helps us seek out healthy romantic union. So this is an alignment that helps us heal. It gives us the nudge needed to start healing ourselves from being in toxic situations when it comes down to our love life. Alignment like this helps us in working on healing our standards, working on our self-worth. So it points us in the right direction. That way we're practicing things that will help us boost our self-esteem. So there may be some sort of method you discovered through this day that helps you boost your self-esteem in the long run. And like this, it helps us notice where seeking validation from other people has put us in awkward and sometimes crappy positions. Through this, we'll get the urge to work on those parts of ourselves that needs that flattery from others. That way we gain a sense of inner peace and confidence within ourselves. On the 27th, we're getting another Chiron alignment, which is not like the one with Venus, which has more harmonious tones to it. This one could be harsher because it is Mars making a square with Chiron, and this could cause us to look at situations where we need to assert ourselves in the most healthiest way possible. And this has two sides to it. On one end, we'll have to address issues with our temper and how we come across to other people, how we react to other people. Sometimes these are unhealthy reactions in the form of rage, in the form of just being irritable, being belligerent, and lashing out, and really just getting angry at the littlest inconvenience and having a lot of outbursts. So this could cause us to take a moment and realize that we have to work on that. So there could be something that day that triggers an event where our tempers flare up and we're having to adjust or deal with the consequences of our actions. And sometimes when these things happen, it gives us the nudge needed to work on these things. And this could be that day where you're getting a nudge needed to work on issues regarding your temper eventually. And on the other end of this, it could be a situation where you're needing to assert yourself. Sometimes it's not the other end. Sometimes we let things fester. Sometimes we build up a lot of resentment with people. Sometimes we don't stand up for ourselves when we need to stand up for ourselves and stand our ground or set boundaries. And so this could be a day where an event gets triggered and you're having to work on healthy assertment. You're having to assert yourself. You're having to say no to toxic people. You're having to stand up for yourself. So something like that can develop as a result of this, but it's coming up so that you can use your voice and others don't walk all over you. And again, as I always say with these hard alignments, just because it happens on that day and just because we have that alignment, it doesn't mean it'll get worked out on that day. These are complex situations, and these transits give us that little push we need or that little signal we need to work on these issues before they become an even bigger problem down the line. And of course, there are situations where our hand gets forced during these transits as well. So it may end up being a resolution, but it won't be a resolution within your own hands. So something like that can come up when we have the harsher alignments as well. At least we round out the weekend with this enthusiastic alignment from Mars and Uranus. Mars and Uranus will make a sextile with one another, which is going to help us take actions that gets us to the next level within our lives. And the next level doesn't have to be heavily goal-oriented, although it can be, but it could simply be breaking out of a rut, especially if you felt stagnant over this last couple of days, over this last week. This could be a time where you're just like, you know what, I want to get up, I want to go out, I want to enjoy myself, I need to do something fun, I need to have an adventure, I need to get together with people and socialize. We did have a little bit of solitude energy on the graph around this point in time, but it was a small amount, so it may be a thing of just wanting to get out of that mode and just wanting to socialize, wanting to be with other people, wanting to do something outside your norm, wanting to push yourself and get out of your comfort zone. But the great thing with this alignment is it shows us where we can have forward movement in our lives, whether that be our personal life goals, whether that be our career goals, whether that be other goals in terms of making progress on some scenario in our lives where we've been wanting forward movement, but we just haven't seen it. So this could be that day where we're seeing the possibilities of it all, and we're seeing that that thing can actually move along, and we're able to level up on a lot of the areas that we're looking at in our lives. And this could also translate to love life situations as well. This can translate to other projects that we have out there. And again, if it isn't even that, it's just going out and having fun, or maybe you have a plan for yourself where you want to get out more and have fun. And so this could be a day where you're starting to see that that's very possible for you. But yeah, what a week. At least we're rounding out with something easy, and easy is a weird thing to say with Mars and Uranus, but I'm going to say easy compared to some of the rougher alignments that we've experienced throughout this week. So yeah, let's have fun with this. Anyway, I hope you all have the best week ever. Later, and see you in the next episode.